The following is a paid program and the views and opinions expressed are those of the host and other speakers and do not reflect the views and opinions of TVG Channel 28.
Acharyamam vijanayan navamanyeta karichit namartya buddhya suyeta sarvadeva mayo guru. He Akaran Karuna Patita Pavan Shri Krishna, tumse vimukh hone ke karan anadikal se humne अनंत अनंत दुख पाए एवं पा रहे हैं पाप करते करते अंतःकरण इतना मलिन हो चुका है कि रसिकों द्वारा यह जान भी अपने बुझाओं के पसारे हमारे प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो तुम्हारे शरण मैं नहीं आ पाता. O my divine beloved, having ignored you since time immemorial, I have been suffering due to committing sins lifetime after lifetime. My mind have become so polluted that even though your saints are telling me you're waiting for me with arms outstretched to embrace me, with a divine life to grace me, still I fail to surrender to you completely. All glories to Shri Radhesham. All glories to all aspiring souls. All glories to all teachers of Sanatan Dharma. All glories to the Devas. Thank you for joining me. Thinking I am the body is ignorance. The body is described in the scriptures as yantra, a vehicle. It's our vehicle. Without life in the body is a dead body. It is life that does everything. Life is consciousness. The body is an unconscious entity. Even now while I'm speaking, the body is an unconscious entity. It does nothing. It's I who reside in the body, consciousness, life, that is doing everything. And I only have the power of life because of the life giver that resides with me in this body. God and you and I, God resides in our body along with us. He infuses the power of life in the soul, and we can do everything. He gives us the power to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, feel. He enlightens the intellect to function, the senses to function, the mind to function. We are the soul. Both God and the soul reside in the body, but the delusion is, ignorance is prevalent in the whole world, where people think that they're the body and they don't reflect on who they really are. So in regards to this question, that I am the soul, a child of God. I am a spiritual being. A child of the Supreme Spirit, God. In regards to this, a question was asked by Arjun. How does someone who is aware that he is the soul, how does he behave in this world? Stita pragnas ka bhasha samaristasha keshav. Stita dehi kim prabhasata kim asita vrajata kim. My Lord, O Keshava, Sri Krishna, what are the characteristics of a person firmly established in the wisdom that he is the soul and not the body? How does he be? Meaning, how does he live? How does he speak? And how does he act in this world? The Lord answered the question. The Supreme Lord said, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan part manugatan atmani eva atmanaha tushtaha stita pragnas tadokchate. The Supreme Lord said, O son of Kunti, one who rejects all desires that enter into the mind and remains self-satisfied. You see, the soul is already full of happiness. But when you desire in the world, then immediately accompanying every desire is the restlessness, the unhappiness to fulfill the desire. There is no peace in your mind until the desire is fulfilled. So, the Lord is saying, the first thing such an individual who lives as the soul, recognizing that he is the soul and not the body is just a tool of the soul. The body is just his vehicle. It's like his space suit, especially meant for the earth. In different regions of God's creation, there's different qualities of bodies. Some superior to this body that we have. You know, we've all heard of angels and jinn and devtas and demons. There are different types of bodies made up of different combination of matter. You all know that there is gross matter, earth. More subtle than the earth is water. More subtle than water is fire. More subtle than fire is wind. And the most subtle element is ether. So there are various types of bodies. Bodies, the angels and the demons have etheric body. You can't see them. And life, the soul, is the most subtle of all. Invisible, untouchable, inconceivable by material senses. These senses can't even see the wind, much less etheric bodies or God's divine body. But when you purify your existence, God reveals himself. The Gita says that Harichahe Shuddhamana Govinda Radhe. God will reveal himself to the one who purifies his mind. Again, it is said in another scripture, the Bible, the pure of heart shall see God. In the Quran, the Lord said, know that the most honored in my sight is he who is most righteous. Purification of our heart is our only business, and then God will give you divine eyes to see Him. All the saints have experienced Him. But our mind needs to be purified. And what keeps our mind dirty? Want. Wanting more than you need. If you learn to satisfy needs and ignore desiring, the habit of wanting, desiring, which is making you lie to fulfill these desires, making you cunning to fulfill these desires. Look, I've heard a couple of young men raped and killed an elderly woman. Desire. People desire the false hope of enjoying themselves turned out to be now they are going to face lifetime in jail maybe. Then a greedy man, he tries to rob someone kills him. Desire. Lust, greed, and anger are the three gates to hell, and it makes this world hell. And it's all born out of desire. So, desires keep one forgetful that they're the soul. And if you don't live as the soul, then how will you desire in regards to the soul? All your desires are in regards to the body. And therefore, you're steeped in the ignorance of thinking yourself to be the body. And many educated people, even PhD, university professors, who don't have spiritual education, they live in this ignorance, thinking they're the body. You need to investigate this information I'm giving you. Seek out all the ancient scriptures. You will derive a lot of information. So the one who rejects all desires that enter the mind and remains self-satisfied is known as a person of firmly established wisdom. I am the soul. Now, the subject of the body is the world. I have to eat, sleep, shelter. I have to maintain the body. Why? Why do I maintain this body? What is the purpose of life? So that I can attain a relationship with God. Who? God is my subject. The subject of the soul is God. The subject of the body is the world. But we have made the world the all in all of the purpose of life, which is ignorance. And it all starts from thinking I am the body. This is like you want to do a mathematical equation and you started out the very first line, you made a slight mistake. Now the entire page of that mathematical equation will be wrong. So the initial idea that I am this body and now I'm living for the sake of the body is why I can't understand my purpose. Until you know that you're the soul, you can't understand the purpose of life. You can't understand God fully. You will say God, God, but still ignorant of the reality of who God is, what He is, how He is, where He is, what is He like. So let's delve into how desires keep us ignorant of being the soul. Dumena avriyati vanir yato darsho malena cha Yatol bina avrito garbas tato tanedam avritam. Desires of goodness slightly cover the awareness that you're the soul. Just like smoke slightly covers fire. Desires of passion covers the awareness that you're the soul about 75%. Just like a dusty mirror covers an image. And desires that are ignorant, evil, completely covers the awareness that you're the soul. Every human being have a mind, and the mind has three types of desires. Sometimes you're desiring what is good. Sometimes you're desiring passion. You want to have relationships, sex, greed for money, want this, want that, passion, and desires that are evil. You want revenge. You hate. You find fault. You criticize unnecessarily. So these three types of desires fluctuate in people's minds. So desires of goodness slightly covers the awareness that you're the soul. Desires of passion covers it even more. And desires that are evil, poor fellows, those who are steeped in evil desires, they're completely lost. They're not aware that they're the soul. Avritam jnanam itena, jnanino nityavairena. Kama rupena kunte dushparena analena cha. Knowledge is covered by desires. What is knowledge? I am a body. I am a body is ignorance. Knowledge is I am a soul. So the difference, the understanding of the difference between I the soul, I the self, and my body is called knowledge. Since thinking I am the body is ignorance, knowledge means I am knowing, not thinking only. I know I am the soul. And I desire in regards to the soul. My desire is to facilitate a good life eternally. I'm very ambitious. Those who think that they're ambitious by accumulating the possessions of the world, you're childish, foolish yet. The soul is eternal. The body is temporary. I'm not going to address temporary needs. I live with the bare essentials to maintain the healthy body and focus on my eternal ambition. This is wisdom. The rest is ignorance. To live for the sake of the body only. So knowledge is covered by desires. Because while you're desiring the things of the world, your mind is focused on the world, and you're only desiring in regards to the body, the things of the world. Therefore, you live a life oblivious of what is your purpose, what is your need, what is the purpose of the soul. So knowledge is covered by desires. And the wise recognize this to be their constant enemy. So the wise live with the bare essentials of life. And they focus on transformation, transcending short-lived material bodies that go through birth, disease, old age, and death. This knowledge is for those who have taken up spirituality seriously, who are trying to know God in reality. And the only way to know God in reality is to study seriously and practice loving and serving God. How do you do that? By serving mankind selflessly, doing things for others who need without any desire for return is the beginning of loving God. Then you will be able to see God in every living entity, and you will become respectful. You'll become kind because there is God in every living entity. This body is His temple too. You and I, both the soul and God, reside in every body. So, the wise recognize desires to be a constant enemy. Why? Because they realize that trying to satisfy desires as a means of attaining happiness is like adding fuel to fire. These desires burn like an ever-increasing fire, because every fulfilled desire is just like pouring gasoline into a fire with the hope of extinguishing the fire. You're thinking that when I fulfill this desire, I'll be happy. No, instead, each fulfilled desire gives birth to a greater desire. You need to reflect on these things. It is your experience, but you lack reflection. You need to introspect. Go within and give yourself some time to think of life clearly. Instead, you're busy thinking of newer and newer things to want, and foolishly thinking that when I get this and get that, I'll be finally happy. Even Bill Gates is not happy. Prince Charles is not happy. You can't buy peace of mind. It has to come from God, a relationship with God, and giving up, running after more and more. So my dear aspiring souls, let's continue with seeing how desires cover the awareness that you're the soul and prevent you from aspiring to satisfy the purpose of the soul. Indriyani mano buddhir. Indriyani mano buddhir. Asya dishta anam ukchate. Itir vimohoyate esha gyan vigyan gyan avrita dehinam. These desires reside in the senses, mind, and intellect. Of course, you see something again and again, then you develop an attachment, a desire for it springs up in the mind, and then you use your intellect how to get it. So desires reside in the senses, mind, and intellect. And naturally, since it's a desire in regards to the body, it prevents you from the awareness that you're the soul. You see, the mind can't really focus two places at one time. It is why it is said you can't serve two masters. And we are all like the biggest fools trying to please God, and we're trying to get the world at the same time. So we're going to fail at both. You can't serve two masters. Satisfy the need of life and focus on attaining your true goal of life, which is to love and serve the divine Lord God. So, Itir vimohayati isha. These desires prevent one from the awareness, from the realization that I am the soul. Because your thoughts are in the world. Your thoughts are not above. And therefore, you live deluded. What's the delusion? I am the body. Because all your desires are related to the body, you have firmly established in your psyche, in your intellect, that you are the body. You live for the sake of the body. You speak in regards to the body. You desire in regards to the body. So you live a life that is deluded. You're living in oblivion of reality. And yet you speak as a president, as a minister, as whoever, as a rich man, as an educated man teaching classes in university, but you don't know you're living a life of oblivion. Oblivious that you are the soul. Therefore, tasmat tvam indriyanu. Indriyani adau. Niyamya bharata sabha. Papanam prajaihi inam. Gyan vigyan nashanam. So therefore, O noble soul, we are all souls, spiritual beings of the Supreme Spirit called God. God is a spirit and desires to be worshipped in spirit and in truth. So therefore, O noble soul, from the very beginning, control your senses. Now everything you see you should want, and destroy this habit of desiring more than you need, which keeps you in ignorance, forgetfulness that you're the soul. Desires, therefore, are the embodiment of sin, the embodiment of delusion. It keeps you unaware that you're the soul. And it makes you commit sins, because both greed and anger are conditions of the mind which will make you commit sins. When you're greedy, you will steal, you will lie. When you're lusty, you will rape. When you're angry, all your decisions are wrong. So, desires is the root cause, is where greed, anger are born out of. Therefore, indriyani parani ahur. Indriya biyaha param manaha. Manasatu para buddhir. Buddhir yaha partastu saha. The senses are superior to the body. Superior to the senses is your mind. Superior to the mind is your intellect. And superior to your intellect is you, the soul. So, evam buddhi param buddhva. Samstabhya atmanam atmana. Yehi shatrum mahabhavo. Kamarupam durasadam. Therefore, O mighty Arjuna, knowing the soul to be superior to the intelligence, steady your mind with resolute intelligence, with divine intelligence, with spiritual knowledge. Steady your mind, which is the seat of desires. The mind, main thing is want and like. So the intellect will qualify what you should want or should not like. So with resolute intelligence, steady your mind, controlling your desires. Destroy this formidable enemy called desires that keeps you in the ignorance of thinking, I am this body. You are the soul, a child of God. Now you can start to fulfill the purpose of life. Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Sita Ram.
That was a paid program, and the views and opinions expressed are those of the host and other speakers, and do not reflect the views and opinions of TVG Channel 28.